Hello and welcome. My name is Errity, and this is Wise Woman Television. Today I'm bringing you a pick a card reading on why is this connection, why is this love, this relationship so hard to let go of. So I first encourage you to like and subscribe. Liking ensures other people see this video, and subscribing ensures your own commitment to yourself. If you press the bell, you'll get the notifications. I will begin by putting up your 3-card piles. That way you can make an intuitive choice as to which one is yours. And then we will begin. So card pile 1. Oh, why is this connection so hard to let go of? Okay, so the first thing that I'm getting here is that you were actually almost like trying to find something good about this connection or this relationship. And you had a lot of mental dialogue, mental chatter, and mental conflict about whether it was right or good for you. And I feel like you were actually efforting to try to like make this work or make believe it was real and true for you. And maybe it even wasn't. And perhaps there's an attachment there. You know, we all love love. Who doesn't? You know, we love the idea of love. That fantasy element could even be there. We'll find out here. We'll see if there's more offered in that regard, but it feels like there was a lot of mental chatter, mental dialogue, and just confusion and just, energy around this relationship and not really knowing what the truth was. Like, and even if you more so align with that, you saw a lot of good in this relationship, there was something that felt elusive to you. Like, there was something that you feel like you didn't have the full truth on or the full knowing of. And so because of that lack of knowing and because of that lack of certainty, it kind of made you crazy. Like, you just thought about it a lot of mental chatter and a lot of mental dialogue, and you really weren't able to find clarity in regards to this relationship. And that's part of the reason why, especially if you have separated, if there's distance, that you're struggling to let it go or move on because you don't have the final answer on it. You know, you don't have the certainty, you don't have the clarity, you don't have the resolve. You're still kind of wondering like, oh, well, what was it? You know, what was that thing I was trying to understand or get to know? Or were they the one for me? Or were they right for me? Or what was, this truth that I wasn't able to gather from that person? So perhaps even they could have been holding back something, or you felt they were holding something back from you, and you feel like you never got the full truth. So there's something there about just feeling like you did not have enough clarity or enough certainty, caused a lot of havoc in the mind, and it's part of the reason why you're not able to let go of now, because it's kind of like a clusterfuck, right? It's like if you know, and you can walk away, but if you don't, it kind of keeps you in that limbo. So what is being guided here is like really check in with how you feel. How do you feel? And like, let that be the answer. Let that be the answer. Like, however you feel, that is the answer. And that is enough of an answer. And you can trust that answer because your gut, your feelings, our intuitive nudges, our sensations are our compass. And so it's saying just answer the question, how do you feel? Answer it. And then trust that. Let that stand for the clarity or the resolve or the certainty that you wanted. Because what it's saying here is that by staying with that person, it would have been sort of against what it was that you are moving toward or growing into or actualizing or focused or working toward or on. It's like it would have not been in perfect alignment with where you're going, with where you're headed, with what you're doing. It's not like it was like a bad relationship or something. Perhaps you had a feeling that maybe it wasn't quite right for you, and maybe that's like the little niggle that's been sitting with you and you've been unable to let go and move on because of. And it's saying you just wouldn't have been in perfect alignment. Like, that wouldn't have been the truest, deepest alignment for you. It's not your highest potential. And it doesn't mean it was wrong. It doesn't mean it was bad. It doesn't mean the person's bad or that anything was, terrible. It just means that it wasn't your highest potential. It wasn't what you truly deeply want for yourself. I also want to pull a clarifier card for you. I am going to do that really quick because it feels like for some of you we're going to let your feelings stand as truth because that was the guidance. And we already know it wasn't in full and true alignment with you. But for those of you who do resonate with that there might have been something that the other person was withholding, let's check in on that. And let's pull a couple clarifier cards to see perhaps if we can get any intuitive nudges on what the person, what is pile one's person withholding? What are they withholding? So I'm going to take a moment and meditate with this for just a minute and see what comes through. Okay, so I did do a brief meditation with the clarifier cards, and what I got wasn't necessarily what the person was holding back, and they may not have been holding back anything, but I did want to pull a card and see if there was anything there, because that did come up in the reading. And what I'm getting is that the timing was just off. There was some timing, universal timing, the way things were adding up in terms of, again, alignment. So we're coming back to that, as well as they were going through a deep transformation and change in their own lives. So they're going through something or growing through something, and they weren't quite in, like, again, that perfect timing or alignment to truly be able to offer you or honor you or whatever in full partnership of like what you truly want, again, what your highest potential is. And there may have been some compatibility issues. So take that as it lands, take it if it resonates, leave the rest. That isn't a huge part of the reading. It was a side note that I wanted to offer because of what had come up earlier in the reading around, you know, you felt like this person might have been holding something back, whether it was a truth. And for many of you, it was just you were unclear on the connection. You know, you didn't have the certainty, and that's why it's been hard for you to let go. So the overall guidance here is really, again, trusting yourself, honoring that feeling, now you know what it feels like when something's out of alignment. Okay, that's what it feels like, when it feels really uncomfortable and distorted and contorted and all the things, and it doesn't feel very good, and then your mind starts freaking out to try to find the answer and all of that. That tells you something is not in full and perfect alignment. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's not your ideal. And there is something here too about things are still in the mix for you. Things are still changing and moving for you. So you too, we got 2 change cards. So that means I think you and this person are in a period of deep either healing, change, integration, transformation, alchemy, whatever, in some way. Again, since the timing isn't ideal or accurate for the both of you. So you especially are in a period of change, because what's going to happen as you continue to change and as you continue to remain in alignment with where you are going, because remember, we already saw that you're on your way towards something, you're in the middle of manifesting something, you're working on a project or a career or something in your life, you've been working toward building something, you know, a lot of changes are underway. And so to choose this relationship could have been to shortcut yourself or short yourself in some way, because a lot of things are still like moving and changing. Nothing has landed yet, and there is more on the way for you. It feels like there is a partner that, again, is much more aligned with your higher potential and where you're going, where you're headed, what you truly want, than what this connection could have offered you. And that comes as a result of the changes that eventually assimilate and are fully integrated, and then boom, you're able to receive someone who's much more in alignment with what it is that you truly want. So pile 1, that's your reading. If this lands for you, I encourage you to like and subscribe. You're also welcome to share your story in the comments. I also invite you to take a look at my options around personal readings and coaching sessions if you would like more support to bring your readings to life. Thank you, pile 1, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Okay, so pile 2. Pile 2, this is on why can I not let this connection go? You know, why can I not let this love go, this relationship, this partner, this person go? So the first thing that I'm seeing here is that, well, one of the reasons you had to let them go was because you have a dream and a vision and an ideal for yourself, and you were having to settle and compromise in a lot of ways in order to make them fit. So they just weren't the ideal, the perfect match. They weren't exactly what you were looking for or what you truly deeply want, either a long-term companion or a long-term partnership. You were having to make a lot of compromises with yourself, a lot of settling, a lot of like convincing yourself they're the right person or the right thing for you, when in truth, they really weren't in full alignment with what it is that you truly want. Now, the next thing that's talking about here is you very clearly did move on, okay? You very clearly moved on. You've walked away from this relationship. And let me see, I want to pull a clarifier card because I don't think it's clear here why you walked away. So, well, we find out why you walked away, but why you're holding on. Okay, yeah. So you're also being guided, yes, to continue to release. So this feels like an energetic thing, like the energy is still with you, because it looks like you walked away but you are still invested on another level. So mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you are still entangled with them in some way, such that, you're kind of holding on. You've walked away physically, but when we ask why can't you let this connection go, it's because you're thinking about them, you're emotionally connected to them. You keep going back to that connection, or maybe even daydreaming about that connection, or even just thinking about it. Why couldn't it work, or why wouldn't I allow it to work, or maybe having a battle with yourself. And the guidance here too is to really listen to yourself. And I love that, actually, I'm seeing it now. All three piles have this message. Listening to yourself for the truth. Because the fact of the matter is, you could be with this person. You could stay with this person. But you are being told and shared with that there are other possibilities. There are greater possibilities that are in greater alignment for you, that actually meet the vision of your greater dream, your greater vision, your ideal partnership, than what this person could offer. And so, you have released them, and things are moving at a quicker pace now. So some of this energy should be clearing out. And if not, of course, you can do a ritual. You can write your intentions down in a journal that you're letting this person go, including all of the energies. You light a candle. There are ways to ritualize this and support yourself in closure. Finding ways to create your own closure, because for pile 2, it feels like it's more about closure than anything else, and the full clearing out of the old energies, and allowing yourself to grieve this connection. Allowing yourself to truly let go. A lot of times when we let go of a connection or a loved one or whatever, there's a loss there, even if it was desired, even if we made the choice. It feels like a lot of you in this pile, if not the majority or all of you, made the choice to walk away and maybe have a sense of regret or remorse or longing or grief. Let yourself grieve. That's going to help you in clearing out that energy. Once you fully grieve, once you allow yourself to feel those feelings, and just allow yourself to have a day, even if it's just a day, 24 hours, just to Netflix and ice cream and cry and write and share with your friends and listen to sad love music and whatever you got to do. At this point, you're just clearing out the energy because you have walked away. And if that's not landing for you, then it may not be your pile. If it is your pile, then, take what resonates and leave the rest. But it's feeling like you will clear out all of these energies. These energies will leave. You will be able to let this connection go, and you will be able to start anew in a new chapter, much more feeling like yourself and feeling whole into yourself, not feeling attached to that other person, not feeling sort of like you're still holding on. And I do wonder if we want to pull a card on, what can help you let go. And it looks like support, getting support from family, from friends, again, even if it's on your own, writing things down, listening to sad music. But I just pulled a clarifier card, giving yourself some space and time to talk about it, to share with family, to be supported by other people. I also want to see here what this might be. Oh yeah, sharing about your experiences, sharing about what happened, getting that energy out. So for pile 2, this is a lot of getting that energy out that you're carrying here that feels like grief. It feels like old energy and entanglement in that other person. Finding ways to get it out. Share, vent, express, dance it out, stomp it out, ritualize it out, whatever you got to do. It's just an energetic attachment at this point. And clearing out that energy, finding closure for yourself emotionally, and then getting your mind focused on something else is really going to support you in being able to let this connection go. So pile 2, this was a quickie reading for you, as well as for pile 1. I thank you for watching. Again, if you like this reading, I encourage you to like and subscribe, or share your story in the comments. And I want to let you know I offer both coaching sessions and personal readings, and I can support you to bring these readings to life. So thank you, pile 2. Okay, so pile 3. Why can you not let this connection go? This relationship, this person, this partnership, this love. What is holding you back from letting go? It's because you had a dream and a fantasy, and you really wanted this to be the thing, and you really wanted it to work. And it feels so, it's like you really wanted this. You wanted it to be the person. You wanted it to be the thing. You wanted it to be the dream. It was the fantasy, right? So a lot of you, it looks like we're very kind of enveloped in the fantasy of it, maybe the idea of it more than the person. Right? So you love like the looks across the room, and the, maybe the footsie under the table, or the this and the that, right? The late night texting, and the maybe watching a movie, or whatever you did, however you spent your time. You really love the idea of this connection, the romance, and all the things. but it just wasn't the right person, and you knew that. And so I imagine for this group, I do like some of you, maybe the other person ended it for pile 3, but for most of you, for many of you, you walked away from the connection because you knew this wasn't your person. You knew this wasn't your person. For some of you in pile 3, I do feel like they knew that you weren't their person. And I feel like you even knew that, acknowledged that, but it still hurts. Because again, you had this fantasy, you were projecting your fantasy onto them. It was really the idea of love that you love the most, more so than the person. And it doesn't mean you didn't have love for them or you didn't love them. It just means a lot of this was fantasy and it wasn't actually true. Because it's saying here, the other part of this message is, when you're honest with yourself, this isn't what you truly deeply wanted. It feels like either you were pursued or the other person was the primary contributor, the one carrying the weight of the relationship. They were the one pursuing and advancing, perhaps showed you a lot of love, showered you with a lot of love. And so it felt really good to be loved and cherished and kind of taken care of or whatever. So it could be both situations, or that, whether they pursued you or not, you were looking and are looking for something different. And deep down, you know that, and that's why you more than likely felt that while you were in relationship with them, and why you might even be holding on to it now because you love the idea of it. Even if you knew it wasn't going to work with them, or even respect their decision for letting you go because you get it. You guys weren't like the 2 peas in a pod for the long term. You guys weren't the ride or die, but it's like you still liked it, and you enjoyed yourself. So there's a message here around, having the courage to let go and go after what you do want. Letting that go and go after what you do want. Not settling, not lowering the bar, not being like, well, I love the idea of love, even if I don't absolutely love them, or even if they don't meet everything that I really wanted for myself. Have the courage to let them go so you can find what it is that you want. Because what it's saying here is there's something much more in alignment with who you truly deeply are. There's something on the way, someone on the way, that is much more true to who you are and what you want. That is much more aligned with your dream, with your vision, that won't require a fantasy or a projection because it will be a reality of what you truly want. It will be true because it is true, versus you taking that fantasy or the idea of it and projecting it onto that person. Again, you're getting another message of letting go. So your challenge, and of course, has been letting go. Obviously, why can't I let go of this connection? Because you're in love with the idea of love. That's why. Because you love the idea of you love the fantasy. You love love. You're a person who might be a hopeless romantic, and all you have to do, is realize that you'll still get this love story. You'll still end up having the dream and the vision, the fantasy, but it's not going to be with this person. And you have to be honest with yourself about that, about who you are and what you want, what you deserve and what you're capable of, and be willing to have the courage to let this person go, because a part of you wouldn't ever be truly, wholly fulfilled having been with this person. There was a part of you that wouldn't have been in full expression, that wouldn't have been fully actualized, that wouldn't have been fully supported. There's a part of you that never would have been able to come to fruition. There's something here that would have been lacking in this relationship that you might not even have known or noticed, that would have become much more clear over time, but you wouldn't have been your whole, alive, full, vibrant self. Like, you wouldn't have been your fully self-expressed self, your fully self-actualized self in the end game if you had stayed with this person. In fact, it would have held you back in some way. You would have been held back. It's not clear about how you would have been held back or in what ways you would have been held back, probably because it's a group reading, but it's saying you would have been held back in some way. There are parts of you, again, that would not have been able to be fully actualized or fully expressed or fully known had you stayed on the path of this relationship. It really just, it doesn't or wouldn't honor the truth of who you are. The entirety of you and all that you're here for, all that you're capable of. It would have held you back in some way. I actually even feel like you would have been cleaning up their mess a little bit and kind of supporting them a little bit more than you would have liked. Like, you might have been at similar levels, but maybe, and there's no hierarchy, there's no real level, right? But we all are on different parts of our journey, and all paths lead to the same place. There are many paths up the mountains. There's no judgment, but there is an acknowledgement here and awareness of around, if you're here up on the mountain, someone else is here, and you were to climb back to meet them, you've now done yourself a disservice. Okay, you've done yourself a disservice. Obviously the ideal would you remain here, and eventually you meet a partner who's also here, and then you walk together. So Pile 3, you were unable to let go of this connection because you love love and you love the idea of love and you love this connection, even though you didn't maybe fully connect with the person on every single level you would have desired, and that you will find someone who's much more in alignment once you have the courage to let them go and move on. So thank you, Pile 3. I encourage you to like and subscribe, or even share your story if this resonated for you. I also want to let you know I do offer both coaching sessions as well as personal readings if you are inspired to explore those options. So thank you, Pile 3, and I look forward to seeing you next time.